this video I'm going to show you how to make hand-stitched button loops.
So I'm going to start with a slightly thicker thread. You can do this with normal thread, but it's a bit more effective with a thicker thread. And the thread we're using is pearly thread, which is kind of embroidery thread. It's a 2-ply. So it's quite a strong thread made out of cotton, and it's ideal for this kind of strong loop that you want for your button. So I've just got my little corner here, which would be the back of the neck, and I'm going to just start by just sewing in, and I'm going to sew, so I've got a tiny bit of thread just there. I'm going to sew over the top of that about 3 times, so I want it to be really nice and secure. And then on the last loop, I'm just going to go through that loop, and that just gives me a little bit more security on that. Pull that tight and give that a really good pull. Now you can see that's really going nowhere. It's nice and tight. All right, so I'm next going to just sew round to where I want my button loop to finish. So you just basically want to make sure that you're making a loop that is big enough to fit your button through, but you do want it to be quite snug, so we're just going to pull that a little bit tighter. Sometimes I just use my finger because that is about the right size for most buttons and that can be quite a handy little tool. So on the other end I'm just going to again sew through about, I think I'll just go through twice. We'll sew twice and see how secure that feels. Okay. Yep, that feels pretty secure, we're not going anywhere with that. And then we're going to take your thread and we're going to hold your loop out, sew underneath and go through the loop and pull it down, like so. One thing you do need to be careful of is that you're not getting too much twisting going on. When you start to get that twisting, it just can affect the finished look and it just doesn't look quite so pretty. So you would carry on going all the way around until you've got a loop that is basically stitched like so. And then at the other end, you're just going to sew through a few times again, knot off, and then just snip nice and close, and that will produce your little loop, like so.